here and you can try them together. It is to the benefit of the state to try them together. It just more efficient. You don't have to do things.
Did you hear the latest twist in YNW Melly's case? A major update just dropped about his possible release. Another bond hearing is locked in for Tuesday, May 6, 2025. This time, Melly's lawyer, Raven Liberty, is stepping forward to make the case for his bond. But inside the courtroom, the mood is intense. One legal expert sitting in the gallery noted, "Judge Fiend looks like he's really considering throwing the case out. He's furious." The state, on the other hand, seems careless, treating a potential death penalty case like it is just another file on their desk, missing deadlines, ignoring orders. But this apparent chaos might actually be a tactic. The prosecution pulled a bold move. They filed paperwork to have YNW Bortlin and Melly tried together, and that changes everything. It puts Bortlin in a position where, if he truly believes he did not commit the crime, he might crack under the pressure of facing life behind bars and start talking. He might end up pointing at Melly and finally reveal what happened to Sack Chaser and Juvie. What many people do not realize is that during the original trial, Melly's defense team already tried to shift the blame onto Bortlin. That was their narrative from day one. Cortland Henry, also known as YNW Bortlin, made his way to Memorial Hospital, but not in the way you might expect. You do not find him nervously waiting in the ER. Instead, he pulls up behind the wheel of a car that tells a chilling story on its own, two lifeless bodies inside, the vehicle riddled with bullets. He arrives not only with a tragic scene, but with a changed shirt and suspicious traces on his hands, gunpowder residue, clear evidence he had fired a weapon. And then came the lies. He lied about the location of the incident, twisted the story about how it went down, and even denied having a phone on him. But that claim crumbled fast. As Miss Bradley bluntly pointed out, everyone carries a phone in their pocket, except apparently Cortland Henry. That moment came straight from Melly's own defense, subtly exposing Bortlin's deception. They laid it out clearly. The residue on his hands, which only appears after discharging a firearm, painted a damning picture. He was the last known person to be with Sack Chaser and Juvie before their deaths. To drive the point home, they even brought in a forensic scientist to break it down further, adding more weight to the claim that Bortlin was not just a witness, but possibly the key player.
So the right hand of Cortland Henry contained 0 particles character.
As soon as the court day ended, WW Bortlin was already thinking of revenge. The same day Melly's mistrial was declared, a tweet from Bortlin appeared reading, "Mind games don't work on people like me," with a handshake emoji. It seemed like he was quietly preparing for what was next, likely advised by his lawyers to stay silent and let Melly's case play out. The judge noticed Bortlin's actions and ordered Melly's lawyers to provide evidence for his release. In response, they pointed out that no firearm was ever found, making it clear, without a gun, how could our client be involved? In the midst of all this, the GPS evidence from the crime scene surfaced, showing YNW Melly sprinting away down the street. This added a new layer of complexity. The report revealed a conversation where Melly was asked if he was okay, and he responded, "There's a car coming behind me, like hiding." When asked about Zach and Juvie, he replied, "I don't know if they're in the car. I think they're..." This was part of Melly's defense against the new information coming out about Bortlin. He revealed that no firearm was ever found, supporting Melly's claim of a drive-by shooting. The GPS evidence also showed that Melly did try to flee the scene. Now the question arises, does this prove he should be released? Some argue it might, but the prosecutors weren't backing down. They presented another shocking piece of evidence to the new judge, revealing Melly's possible motive. A rogue O-Block member had come forward, claiming Melly's motive was rooted in financial disagreements with Sack Chaser and Juvie.
Vaughn really tell you that Melly told him that he was 2 friends?
He ain't come out and say, like, we got it to a...
This was meant to be a secret that Melly shared only with King Vaughn, but tragically, Vaughn passed away after revealing it to some O-Block members. The name YW wasn't just a label, it was also a registered business LLC. Through this, Melly and Bortlin performed concerts, sold merchandise, and ran promotions in exchange for money. That money would flow through the bank account and be divided among the YW members. However, Sack Chaser and Juvie just sat back, collecting their share without contributing anything to the work. Though Melly might not have wanted to continue, things took a darker turn when evidence from his phone came to light. Hours after the crime, Melly sent a text admitting to it. When asked by the PC Gambino account if he was okay, his reply was chilling. "I did that," followed by a smiley face emoji. The next message, sent on October 26, 2018 at 4:02 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, had the YNW Melly account asking, "What, after that?" But it didn't end there. Also discovered on Melly's phone was a saved video from someone's Facebook Live, showing only 6 hours after the crime, Melly and Bortlin's reactions were shocking. Despite the horrific events of that early morning, morning, Melly was still out there, remaining positive and upbeat. He posted, "The dogs still turn, regardless of what happened, you already know." No sign of sorrow for the loss of his two best friends. But what many didn't know was that something even more disturbing was happening behind the scenes. The prosecutors, instead of rushing, were taking their time in presenting evidence against Melly, part of a well-thought-out strategy. The plot thickened when disturbing evidence was discovered in Melly's ex-girlfriend Mariah's iCloud account. It revealed Melly's attempts to force her not to testify during the original trial, which is classified as witness tampering, a crime that can result in a life sentence, even if Melly hadn't been directly involved in the deaths of Sack Chaser and Juvie. The state responded by filing 6 new charges against him and 2 others. The charges included witness tampering, directing criminal activities, solicitation or conspiracy to tamper, and unlawful use of a two-way communication device. Some of these charges come with the possibility of a life sentence if Melly is convicted. While there's still a chance that Melly could be found not guilty of the deaths of Sack Chaser and Juvie due to the mistrial, the situation shifts dramatically if the evidence of him telling his ex-girlfriend not to testify holds up. If he's convicted on the witness tampering charges, he could face a life sentence, no matter the outcome of the original case. This new case is entirely separate from the first trial. This situation means even more lawyer fees for Melly, especially with Mariah's recent arrest when she entered the United States last month. She made a deal with the judge, agreeing to testify against Melly in the next trial as long as she was released from jail. After accepting, she posted on her Facebook, "Thank you to my village. I love you all so much. God's plan, not mine." She allegedly wasn't happy with how her story was broadcasted on the local news. Mariah Hamilton spent her first day at Broward County Jail, facing the consequences of her involvement. Mariah's arrest record shows that U.S. Border Patrol agents took her into custody at Miami International Airport on Monday after she arrived on an international flight. Court records reveal that Hamilton was ordered to testify in Demon's first trial in 2023. The most chilling part of all this is that the feds have already confirmed they possess the evidence related to Melly's witness tampering. For the past few months, Melly hasn't been allowed to use a phone in jail. The situation became so dire that his mother, Jamie King, gave an interview, publicly exposing the county jail for not allowing her son any phone access.
My son has not been convicted of anything, and even other inmates that have been convicted or anything, they have
If the evidence holds true that Melly has been using the jail phones to commit witness tampering, it's clear why they stopped him from using them. They must have concrete proof stored away, as they wouldn't restrict his phone access based on just a suspicion. In response to this, Jamie King revealed how heartbroken she is for her son, feeling utterly helpless as he isn't even being treated like a human being. When she saw Melly's statement, where he expressed how he's been hurt and scared for his life, she said, "It's heartbreaking. It made me feel completely helpless." She also stated that the Broward Sheriff's Office needs to be investigated, adding, "They're making up their own rules. We've tried going to court about this, but the judge doesn't really listen." Jamie King expressed her frustration, stating that the jail doesn't seem to follow any proper rules. She revealed that they had a hearing about Melly's mistreatment, but the jail seems to make up its own regulations. She believes this isn't fair and that the jail should be held accountable. As for YNW Melly's mother, it was recently announced that she went viral after revealing she started a fan account while her son stands trial. In an interview, she explained why she made the decision, sharing how much money she had earned from it. When asked why she chose to break the internet, she spoke openly about her motivation and the response it generated. Recently, Jamie King shared a moment where she humorously explained her decision to start a fan account, saying, "I turned 40 this year, why not do something crazy?" She reflected on how, at this point in her life, it felt like the perfect opportunity to take a bold step. When asked if she had started it yet, she confirmed, "Oh, yeah." As for how much she made on the first day, she couldn't help but admit that it was pretty epic. When asked for a ballpark figure, she casually mentioned around 40 to 50,000 on day one. This announcement quickly took the internet by storm, with even DJ academics commenting on the viral moment, acknowledging the buzz it created. Jamie King recently revealed she was starting her own OnlyFans account, and to be honest, this move has left many people puzzled. It's hard to understand why she would choose to do this while her son is literally fighting for his life. There are certain mothers in hip-hop, some of whom you could probably name, that seem to ride the fame of their sons, seeking their own spotlight. Blueface's mom is one example of this. The dynamic between Melly and his mom has always seemed fascinating, raising questions about the boundaries of fame and family in the hip-hop world. I never imagined Jamie King would go down this route. If you're wondering whether she's doing it for money, it's hard to believe that's the case. While DJ Academics claims it's not about the money, social media has a different opinion. Fans began digging into her past and uncovered an old interview from 2 years ago on No Jumper, where Adam 22 and YWB Slim were talking to Jamie King. During the interview, Adam mentioned that he imagined Melly had spent a lot on lawyers, to which she responded with a chuckle. Even Melly's own brother, YWB Slim, chimed in, calling out Melly for some of his questionable spending choices. During the No Jumper interview, interview, Jamie King reflected on how much money Melly had spent on things that were far from necessary. Her brother, YWB Slime, pointed out that Melly had splurged on cars and jewelry, even though he wasn't able to wear the jewelry. He questioned, "Why are you buying jewelry if you're not here to wear it?" He also noted that spending on lawyers would have been a much better choice, as Melly had plenty of money for legal fees, but had spent it elsewhere. Slime's frustration was clear as he said Melly had a tendency to waste money on things that weren't going to help his case. As for Jamie King, fans began to speculate that the income from her OnlyFans account could be to fund the additional legal costs, especially considering the new charges of witness tampering. While it's hard to ignore the financial side of things, it's also important to remember the emotional toll Jamie has been under, having to watch her son go through such a public and intense trial. The account might just be a way for her to cope, especially considering the emotional strain she was under during the original trial, where Melly even had to check in on her well-being multiple times. In the case of Jamie King, speculation has arisen surrounding her decision to maintain an OnlyFans account, particularly with the ongoing legal troubles surrounding her son. Some believe that the funds generated from her account might be going towards covering the mounting legal fees, especially now that new charges, such as witness tampering, have been introduced. This financial angle is certainly hard to ignore, especially when the situation involves such serious legal proceedings. However, it would be unfair to overlook the profound emotional burden Jamie has been carrying throughout this entire ordeal. The emotional strain of watching her son endure a public and high-stakes trial is something that cannot be easily quantified in financial terms. It's not just a matter of money, it's about the toll it takes on a mother's heart and psyche. The gravity of the situation has been overwhelming for Jamie, especially when considering how her son's legal battles have unfolded in front of the entire world. The stress and emotional exhaustion she must have felt throughout this experience are immeasurable, and there's little doubt that she's been grappling with feelings of helplessness and anxiety. Interestingly, during the original trial, Jamie's well-being became a point of concern for her son Melly. At times, he had to check in on her to ensure she was coping with the emotional weight of the trial. This in itself speaks volumes about the family dynamic and the toll this has taken on everyone involved. In some ways, Melly, despite being in the midst of his own legal troubles, was still concerned about his mother's emotional well-being. This level of care and concern speaks to the complexity of their relationship and the intense emotional pressure that both of them have been under. Given this context, it is entirely possible that Jamie's OnlyFans account is not just a financial tool, but also a coping mechanism for her. The account might offer her a sense of control and a way to maintain some form of independence during a time when everything around her is in turmoil. In a situation as harrowing as the one Jamie is facing, finding any outlet to manage stress and emotional pain is crucial. Whether or not the account is primarily a means to fund legal costs, it's clear that it serves a deeper emotional function for Jamie, offering her a way to regain some semblance of normalcy and empowerment. When everything is stripped away, it's crucial to remember the person at the core of this situation, Jamie King. Beyond the rumors and legal entanglements, she is, above all, a mother enduring one of the most excruciating experiences imaginable. The intense public attention and speculation surrounding her actions, especially her decision to run an OnlyFans account, might seem to some like a simple financial strategy. However, the truth is far more layered. Jamie's choices likely stem from a combination of emotional necessity, self-preservation, and an attempt to maintain some form of control over a life that has spiraled into uncertainty. In the face of immense pressure from the legal system, Jamie's every move is being scrutinized under a microscope. The trial of her son, the additional legal charges, and the relentless media attention have cast a long shadow over her existence. For a mother, watching her child endure such a high-profile and stressful ordeal is a pain that cannot be captured in words. It's easy for people to focus on the financial aspects of her decisions, but that perspective overlooks the emotional reality that Jamie is facing. Her actions are not just about money, they are an attempt to cope with an overwhelming situation that threatens to consume her. At the heart of her decision to maintain an OnlyFans account might be the need to regain a sense of agency in a time when almost everything else feels beyond her control. The account could be one of the few ways for her to assert some independence, providing a small measure of stability amidst the chaos. While many see OnlyFans as purely a financial tool, it's also important to consider the emotional benefits it might offer Jamie. It could be a form of self-care, a way for her to find a sense of purpose and normalcy when so much of her life has been thrown into turmoil. The weight of this experience is not just financial, it's deeply emotional. The legal system and the public eye can be unforgiving, and Jamie's life has been under intense scrutiny. She's not just navigating the fallout from her son's legal troubles, but also trying to hold on to her own mental and emotional well-being. The pressure to keep it all together for herself and her son must be unbearable at times. What many might fail to understand is that while Jamie may be engaging in an unconventional financial strategy, she's also engaging in an act of emotional survival. Through all the public judgment and assumptions about her choices, one thing remains clear: Jamie is doing what she can to survive. She's trying to maintain her own stability in a world that has become unpredictable and harsh. In a situation as overwhelming as this, she likely clings to anything that gives her a sense of control or relief, even if only for a brief moment. The emotional resilience that Jamie exhibits through this entire ordeal is a testament testament to her strength as a mother. Her actions are driven by a deep desire to protect her son, and in doing so, she's fighting for her own peace of mind as well. It's important to recognize that Jamie's choices are not just about financial gain. They are about holding on to something, anything, in a time when everything else seems to be slipping away.